Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Tucker Carlson may be doing the biggest interview. Interview bigger than if Joe Rogan interviewed Donald Trump. And I know right now you're just like, nah, there's nothing bigger. I think this might be bigger. I think it might be bigger. Tucker Carlson may be interviewing Vladimir Putin very soon. He might be doing it right now. It might get released today. It might get released tomorrow. I think this is really happening. And I'm going to show you why I think so. We got some clips of Joe Rogan, of course. Then we have Tucker Carlson talking about his past of being censored by the U.S. government, almost held back by the U.S. government from even going to Russia. But we all know what's happened to Tucker since. He's gotten fired from Fox. He is untethered, unmuzzled. He's able to do whatever he wants. Now, we're just going to get into it. Let me take you on this ride. We got some Joe Rogan clips first. Then we have two of Tucker Carlson. Then we have two of Tucker Carlson in Russia. And one of them is a not seen before actual conversation between him and someone who is a journalist in Moscow. And he's talking to him about this interview. So let's just get into it right now. Do not forget about IamCoachColin.com. Discount code is IamCoachColin. We got Soul Not For Sale shirts. We got Public Enemy #1. We got anti-mainstream shirts. We got FU Klaus shirts. We got Trump shirts. We got certified pure blood shirts. We have all sorts of stuff. Discount code is IamCoachColin. All capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin. Now let's get to the first clip.
Crazy times. Crazy.
Yeah. The FBI had involvement in censoring tweets.
Yeah.
And censoring tweets that turned out to be accurate. Censoring tweets about the Hunter Biden laptop, censoring tweets about COVID and vaccine data. And it's just like the FBI was involved in people's tweets. Like, how? What? And Facebook, too. It's like, whew.
Dude, I mean, honestly, if you're not listening, like regularly listening to some prominent podcasts, you're not getting any sort of like factual information. I mean, for a guy like me, I'm a hot rod builder, dude. I'm a businessman. I'm not, politics aren't really my fucking thing. But like listening to like you, Jordan Peterson, RFK Jr., I'd never fucking known about that dude, right? And I think he's a pretty fucking cool dude. And listening to
very interesting guy,
unfucking believable guy. I mean, incredibly interesting. And that's something you would never hear about. Like that's not going to come up on mainstream news and like motivate a guy like me to be more interested in that guy.
Well,
right?
No one's going to ever let him just talk like that. He told me that over 18 years, no one just let him talk like that. Just let him, not interrupt him, not stop him, not try to change the subject. To say, just go ahead, tell me everything that you think.
Yeah, your podcast with Jordan Peterson, I think you said like 4 words the entire time, and he just ran.
Well, Jordan's perfect for that, too. I mean, he's also in tune right now because he does all these lectures. So Jordan does these like huge like stadiums, these giant fucking places, and he's essentially ranting for like an hour and a half. And he has prepared bullet points and things he wants to talk about, but he kind of lets the flow go when he gets up there. But he can do that about anything and everything. He's ridiculously smart, like confusingly smart.
Sharp guy.
But the amount of reading that guy's done, like the things that he can recall at the tips of his finger, like instantaneously, it's pretty stunning.
I'm still thinking about the Facebook shit. Sorry, you're talking about the Facebook and the FBI. So I've just got this. I've got this picture in my head, like at the Facebook headquarters. You've got the dude that's on the phone with the FBI, right? And he's like, all right, yeah, we're going to suppress those tweets. We're going to do that. And like he's sharing a cubicle, and this other dude, like Mitch, is bitching about like Facebook Marketplace, and Deb is, in Nevada bitching about like her post for vases that get taken down. Like it's such a huge business.
Probably different levels there.
You think it's different floors? It's just not sharing the same.
They prioritize. It's a
but
big
you
building.
think about like the things that Facebook's dealing with on a daily basis just to run their stuff, and then dealing with the, I can't believe you deleted my post.
Well, there's also weird things they do. Like I read this thing today, Jamie. Well, I only read the headline. I didn't read the article. I was going to bring it up today. They said that at one point in time, Facebook was contacted by the FBI about one of Tucker Carlson's videos, and that they reduced the views of it, or reduced the reach of it by 50%. Google that and see what the fuck that's all about.
What ever came out on Tucker? What was the real reason they fucking shit canned him?
I don't think you'll ever know.
I don't think he said. I don't think he can. He's probably in the middle of a lawsuit. Probably can't talk about it. But it's pretty wild. You got literally the only successful guy on cable news, the only one that has a loyal fan base, and the only one who says wild shit. He was talking like he was on a podcast, but he was doing it on Fox. Yeah. Like some of the things he said, like the CIA killed Kennedy, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Is this guy on Fox? He just said the CIA killed Kennedy."
I was just looking at your Kennedy framed deal and all the
Oh,
memorabilia.
yeah.
That's
Patrick Bet David gave me that.
nuts.
It's pretty cool. Do we find it, that story? Is it horseshit?
I'm not saying either way. That's not a. I don't know where you saw it, so I have to find.
So I would just want you to
article,
Google
I did.
Facebook
Nothing
reduced
comes up
Tucker
that way.
Carlson's video reach by 50%.
Not a single thing came up that way. It was other articles about different stuff with Tucker's name and Facebook and Fox News and predictions and this and that. There's nothing about.
They reduced
the
the search
reach on
history.
it.
I
on it,
should have
too.
saved it. God damn it. That's always one of those ones when I'm like, you'll be able to find this. There's just too many fucking stories out there now.
Is your screenshots on your phone just like ridiculous?
Oh, yeah.
Of
Yeah.
and then you try to go back and be like, what? There's got to be something in that I
Right.
screenshot. What was the
Exactly.
reason?
Exactly. Like, what is that?
All right. I think
It just looks like
You
a
found
cat.
it?
I think
It says
so.
hang in
Okay.
there.
What does it say,
I
Jeremy?
don't know. It's I
me
got
see
a
it.
Biden administration pressed Facebook about censoring Tucker Carlson posts. Federal lawsuit
Yeah, that's it.
from July.
Yeah. So, despite Facebook staff assessing that the video did not qualify for removal from the site, so Facebook complied with requests from members of President Joe Biden's White House staff to throttle the reach of a 2021 video by then Fox News host Tucker Carlson, according to the federal lawsuit. And it says, despite Facebook staff assessing that the video did not qualify for removal. So, under the request by the federal government, they decided to throttle a video that they couldn't remove because it didn't qualify for being removed. So that means it didn't violate anything. Now, what was this video about?
That's what I'm trying to find out what it says or what it was talking about.
That's so crazy.
Deputy Assistant Rob
I'm sure
Flaherty
they've got
emailed
our best
demanding
interests at heart.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going down a path where our
Okay,
videos will be throttled
here it
moving
is.
forward.
Mr. Carlson, okay. Strategy, Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of Digital Strategy, Rob Flaherty, emailed Facebook executives demanding the suppression of a video segment by Mr. Carlson in which he questioned their safety and asserted that people who had taken the COVID-19 vaccines had sustained injuries and died. Mr. Flaherty also flagged a video by another Fox News host, Tommy Lauren, who said she wouldn't take a vaccine. That's wild. Well, that's true, though. People did sustain injuries, and some people did die from it. That's true. And they got Facebook to throttle that, even though it's true. That's wild.
And we paid for that staff of all those people to watch those videos and flag them and let Facebook know, too.
Hold on. Stop. Listen to this. Then White House senior COVID-19 advisor Andy Slavitt also messaged Facebook executive Nick Clegg about Mr. Carlson's video. According to the judge's Tuesday ruling, Mr. Slavitt expressed his displeasure that Facebook did not remove the video and said, "Not for nothing, but the last time we did this dance, it ended in an insurrection."
Ooh.
Mr. Clegg, in turn, noted that the video did not qualify for removal. Holy shit.
That's some heavy stuff.
Despite the video not qualifying for removal, Facebook officials said Mr. Carlson's video was being demoted to reduce its reach. In an April 16, 2021 follow-up, Facebook officials told Mr. Flaherty that the platform gave Mr. Carlson's video a 50% demotion for 7 days and stated that it would continue to demote the video despite it not violating the platform's policies. That's wild. That's just pure censorship. That's information that turns out to be true that you don't like. You don't want people knowing about it. And so you contacted a social media company and said, the last time we did this dance, it ended in insurrection. This is wild stuff, man.
Crazy.
These fucking nuts. It's just nuts, man.
I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Have our
they're
best interest in
leading us
heart.
to hell. Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange that people who appreciate the First Amendment and the importance of it, if you're an American, it's like one of the most important things that we have that other countries don't have. It's our ability to express ourselves. Freedom of speech. It's fucking everything. People don't think it's everything. It's everything. It's the only way you find out what's true. When people can't talk, then someone can say something that is inaccurate or it's propaganda, and you have no one that can say any different.
You got to take the Second Amendment along with it, though, if you take the first. If you take just the first, people are going to be super fucking pissed off, and they've got weapons.
Right, exactly. Well, they're trying to take the second one,
Yeah.
too. There's a lot of that going on. Yeah. It's weird times, fellas.
Dude.
Well, we're just going through Tucker Carlson's past of censorship. Now, this was the first one. This was the White House going after a post that was on Facebook. Now, we're going to move on to something else that I'm sure you guys have heard of. Well, he was censored, or not even censored, he was more tracked in this other one. And you know what else? As I was listening to that, I wonder if I ever get a message like that. If somebody's ever like, hey, YouTube, do XYZ. or hey, Twitter, do XYZ to this guy's videos? I wonder. That'd be very interesting to see. I don't want to know because it would be very terrifying, but I do wonder sometimes. Now let's get into the next clip. We got another Joe Rogan clip, very short. And this time he's talking about Tucker Carlson and the NSA. And then we're going to move on to Tucker Carlson pretty much confronting the White House on air. And then we're going to move on to him going deeper into the situation with Putin. And then I'm going to show you some articles. And then I'm going to show you a conversation that nobody is really talking about, but it kind of confirms that Tucker Carlson is going to interview Putin. Watch until the end for that one. Let's move on to this one real quick.
The NSA got into his Signal.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, his Signal app, because he was about to have a conversation with Putin. They were trying to set up a conversation with Putin, and the government called him up. And they're like, hey, we know you're setting up a conversation with Putin. We saw it through your Signal app. And he was like, what? Like, I didn't even fucking know they could do that. That's what he was saying. I assumed they could do that because I had a conversation with Gavin DeBecker, and he essentially said that through Pegasus software, it's Pegasus 2.0. He said Pegasus 1, you needed to click a link, and that's how they got Bezos. That's how, what's the guy's name from Saudi Arabia got Bezos?
MBS.
Yeah. But Pegasus 2, they just need your phone number. That's it. Like, all this idea of encryption, like... Oh, well, you're using encryption? Oh, that shit doesn't mean anything. See that Tucker Carlson said that the...
Imagine being Tucker Carlson. And this is when he was still with Fox. This isn't even Tucker Carlson now. That's how much he was being tracked and listened into, more than likely phone calls tapped, emails being read. They're literally saying, hey, we know that you're setting up a conversation with Putin, which stopped him from going to Russia. Just so you know, he felt like he was not allowed to go because of what... Just think about that in terms of the mainstream media. How many of these guys, I mean, most of them are bought and paid for puppets, but if they did want to do anything outside of the box, they're not even allowed to. They'll just get a call from some dark entity. Hey, we saw this in your emails and, you know, yeah, that would be against national security. We can't have you do that. What? How crazy is that? Man. And that's what was going on before he got fired from Fox. Imagine how tracked, traced, listened to, tapped into he is currently. Man, I hope he makes it back, because right now, again, like, I'm not just making this up. Watch until the end. You're going to see a little conversation between him and a Russian journalist. I don't even know what's going to happen on his way back. That was one of the things he was scared of. You're going to learn that in another clip that I have that you're going to hear in a second. But let's move on to this clip where Tucker Carlson takes what Joe Rogan was talking about in terms of the White House actually censoring him and kind of throttling posts, things of that nature, the NSA, blah, blah, blah. Tucker Carlson actually decides to call out the White House. And let's just get to the clip. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Let's go.
Last night we told you about the Biden administration's efforts to monitor and intimidate this show. On Sunday, we heard from a whistleblower within the U.S. government, someone with direct knowledge, who warned us that the NSA was reading our electronic communications, our emails and texts, and was planning to leak them selectively in an effort to hurt us. This person had details from my emails that no one outside the recipient could have known. So it was not a delusion, it was entirely real. In fact, it was confirmed. After the show last night, after we announced this, other news organizations acted as if it's totally normal for heavily politicized intel agencies to spy on and threaten journalists they disagree with. It's no big deal. Stop whining. But it is a big deal. It is completely wrong, not to mention illegally. And this is hardly the first time the so-called intelligence community has done something like this. They've done an awful lot of it. Look it up. If we let them continue to do it, it's the end of democracy. Democracy can't function with semi-independent, highly politicized intel agencies. It's really dangerous. For its part, the Biden administration just ignored the story. They did not deny the story. They can't. They know that it's true. Today, the president's flack was asked about it on Air Force One. Here's the exchange.
Tucker Carlson said that the NSA is spying on him. Is the administration aware of any espionage or listening efforts on U.S. citizens by the NSA, and is Tucker Carlson one of them?
Well, the NSA, as I think you're well aware, I'm sure everyone's aware, everyone on this plane is aware, I should say, is an entity that focuses on foreign threats and individuals who are attempting to do us harm on foreign soil. So that is their purview. But beyond that, I would point you to the intelligence community.
It's like she's reading the Wikipedia entry. Ask them. But here's what to notice. No denial. Of course, she's right that the NSA is chartered to spy on foreigners, not on Americans. That's illegal. And yet the NSA does routinely spy on Americans. It won't call it spying. That's exactly what it is. Millions of Americans. And sometimes it does it for political reasons. And everyone knows this. Everyone, including sitting members of the Intel Committee. Some of them are paranoid about their own communications. That's true. In Washington, this is just considered fine. But it's not fine. It is dangerous and it's wrong. Some faceless hack in a powerful government spy agency decides he doesn't like what you think, so he's going to hurt you, and there's nothing you can do about it? That could happen to you. And when it does happen, trust us. NBC News will call you a delusional QAnon conspiracy theorist for complaining about it. Well, this morning we decided to just call Paul Nakasone directly. He's the highly political left-wing four-star general who runs the NSA. The receptionist refused to put us through. We're American citizens, though, so we kept trying, because it's our right. This afternoon, we got his direct line, and we tried again. Nakasone's assistant seemed shocked that someone whose email the NSA is reading would dare to call the director himself. Shut up, serf, obey! So they told us Nakasone just wasn't there. Then, just minutes before air tonight, the NSA sent us an infuriatingly dishonest formal statement, an entire paragraph of lies written purely for the benefit of the Intel community's lackeys at CNN and MSNBC, all those people they hire with the titles on the screen. They also tweeted it out a few minutes ago. Now, last night on the show, we made a very straightforward claim. NSA has read my private emails without my permission, period. That's what we said. Tonight's statement from the NSA does not deny that. Instead, it comes with this non sequitur. In part, quote, Tucker Carlson has never been an intelligence target of the agency. Okay, glad to know. But the question remains, did the Biden administration read my personal emails? That's the question that we asked directly to NSA officials when we spoke to them about 20 minutes ago in a very heated conversation. Did you read my emails? And again, they refused to say. Again and again. And then they refused even to explain why they couldn't answer that simple question. We can't tell you, and we won't tell you why we can't tell you. My emails.
I can't figure out, why did they fire Tucker Carlson? I don't really know. It's amazing that he actually said this on air. He was calling out the Biden administration and the NSA. Not only that, actually had a discussion with them, was trying to get this information from them, was confronting them head on. This is wild stuff. But again, it was all because he just wanted to interview Putin. He felt like he had the right. As a member of the press, you have the right to find people, especially people in politics, who a lot of people may not agree with, a lot of people may not like, a lot of people may love. He sat down with Donald Trump. I'm sure he would interview Biden if Biden was up to a few sentences, you know, if he could pull that off. I don't know. That would be like an Evel Knievel stunt for that gentleman. But but he's willing to sit down with, I mean, he even sat down with Obama's, you know, the whole thing with Obama. Like he's willing to sit down with people. He's willing to figure things out and hear people out and show a different side than what the mainstream media is showing. So of course he wants to interview Putin. Why wouldn't he? He wants people to be able to hear what this guy has to say. If Bill Burr has a great bit where he talks about Nazis and he's like, you got to let Nazis do the Nazi salute. He goes, because it shows you who the Nazis are. He goes, don't you want to know who the Nazis are? If you stop all of them from doing it, they just look just like us. He's like, you want to know who those people are. So if Putin is a monster and he has these horrible things to say and he has these horrible plans for the world, you want to hear that. You want the whole world to hear it. You want all of America to hear it. You want all of Europe to hear it. The whole UN, the whole every single person who could Log in and actually see the interview. You want them to hear the horrible things he has to say. Unless he has something else to say. I'm not a huge Putin fan, one way or the other. I don't know much about the man. But I'd love to hear what he has to say. Let's get into this other clip. Tucker Carlson actually breaking down that story, because now Tucker Carlson was a little angry in that last clip that you saw because of everything that Joe Rogan said. The NSA, the White House, throttling posts, reading emails. So Tucker Carlson was angry. Now, in this other clip, he's a little more relaxed and he's able to just kind of go through the actual happenings towards him not being able to interview Putin. And it's really surprising that them doing this was almost like, and here's the thing, Tucker Carlson, I call him a mainstream media whistleblower. It kind of shows that these people, and I kind of touched on this before, these people in the mainstream media, they kind of have a leash. And if the NSA reads your emails and that frightens you, and then you're supposed to go to Russia and then you don't, well, then it kind of shows us who holds the leash on the mainstream media talking heads. That's just me. That's me just connecting a dot or two. White House censors you, NSA reads your emails, you get contacted about it, and now you're not doing the thing that you wanted to do. How many other mainstream talking heads have that same type of leash? And how many other high up organizations or agencies are the ones holding the end of that leash? I don't know. Let's get into this clip.
Yeah, where maybe some people travel to. This area was like they said.
Whoa, way too fast, Colin. I listen to things really fast because I'm a maniac. Let me slow it down for you guys. Apologize. Let's go.
That a North American only goes there like once every 6 months.
Oh, I want to. Now I'm envious. You guys.
So they thought we were like, they legit thought we were spies. They held us for like 2 hours in like a room with like 2 beds and shit.
No way.
And then we had to call like Khabib's manager, and then they came to get us at the airport.
How old are you?
28.
That's so cool.
But everyone told us not to go, obviously, right? But we knew we were with good people. So after that, it was all good. But
I want to go.
It was pretty cool.
I've never been there.
You feel it though. It is really scary. Like there's like military checkpoints.
Oh yeah.
And like it's serious.
Would you have gone with him or no?
I can't go to Russia. I honestly think I would be arrested.
Yeah, they'd get you.
Which is outrageous because I'm a journalist and I've been all over the world. I feel like I've been everywhere except Russia. And Russia is a combatant in a war that's changing the world, and like I should go see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was planning on it, and I got stopped by the U.S. government from doing it. And I was.
Well, you were gonna go?
Of course.
And then what were you gonna do?
Interview Putin. Why wouldn't
you
I?
had it set up?
I was working on it, and they broke into my text messages. The NSA broke into my Signal account, which I didn't know they could do.
Oh, so Signal's not even safe.
Oh God,
Signal is
not safe anywhere, huh?
Safe. Signal is not safe.
I know people think WhatsApp's safe.
No,
it's like, man,
WhatsApp?
No.
WhatsApp is not. You know what's safe? And ask any mafia don. Park your car in front of the liquor store. Leave your phone in the vehicle, in your Caprice Classic, and walk out behind the liquor store, in the vacant lot back there with the winos to talk to the person you want to talk to.
How many times have you done that?
0.
Okay.
Because I'm like lazy. I'm like, "Arr!" And I always say to myself, I'm not hiding anything. I don't have a secret life. I'm pretty upfront, and some people like it and some people don't, of course. But I'm not hiding anything. But I was definitely hiding my plan to go interview Putin just because it's an interview.
So how did that happen?
Business.
How do you know the NSA broke into your Signal?
Because they admitted it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like, can you tell us about that? Like, how did you find out?
I got a call from somebody in Washington who would know, just trust me, so I went up there for another reason, but this person said, are you going to come to Washington anytime soon? This was a year and a half ago. And I was like, yeah, actually I'm going to be up in a week. Meet me Sunday morning. So weird. Like, who does that? Just text me. You know what I mean? Just text me. No. So I go, and this person's like, and this is someone who would know. Are you planning a trip to go see Putin? This was the summer before the war started. And I was like, how would you know that? I haven't told anybody. I mean, anybody. Not my brother, not my wife, nobody. And just because, it's one of a million things you're working on. But that was one of them. I want to go interview. Why wouldn't I want to interview Putin?
Of course.
I want to interview Xi. I want to interview everybody, right? Yeah. That's kind of my job.
We want to get Kim Jong Un on here one day.
Of course. We met him.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, we got to talk about that after. But continue
super
with this.
interesting. But anyway,
holy shit.
How would you know that? Because NSA pulled your text with this other person you were texting. How did you know that? And so I was intimidated. I'm embarrassed to admit, but I was completely freaked out by it. I called a U.S. senator who I know, not that well, but it seems like a trustworthy person. And I told him a story. I said, I just want to tell you this. And then I went on TV on Monday and I'm like, this happened. And so they had, in Congress asked NSA, and NSA is like, yes, we did this, but for good reason. What would be a good reason to read my, what? But the head of NSA, it's fine. It gets, because everyone's in on it. Republicans and Democrats are all in on it. And by it, I mean the assumption that there's no privacy whatsoever, that they have a right to know everything you're saying and thinking.
That shit's scary.
And that's just not a right as far as I'm concerned. By the way, if you have no privacy, you have no freedom. Freedom is predicated on privacy. It's like none of your business.
You don't even think about that. Like they can just go through your phone and find everything.
They did it to me, so I know that for a fact. But again, if you have no privacy, you have no freedom.
Yeah.
How about this? It's none of your business. If that's not a good enough answer, then you are a slave.
Has that changed the way you communicate now?
Not really, because I've got, I feel like I have too much to do and I'm communicating with all these people and I'm not like committing any crimes. Like an idiot, I pay all my taxes and I do all this stupid things. I have a driver's license and like all the dumb little things you have to do as an American citizen, all of which are just like obedience challenges. They really are like, jump through the hoop, doggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But I do them all because I'm afraid not to. So I'm like, law abiding, though in my heart I'm not. I can tell you that. That's so crazy. But I do obey the law. So I'm like, whatever. But now I can't go to Russia. Anyway, this is a long sidebar that detracts from my admiration of you guys for doing that. That's ballsy. Were you worried about getting grabbed by the State Department when you came back?
No, not really. I was more worried about just going in there. But when we got through the customs, I knew we were going to be good because we were with kind of like Russian royalty, like Khabib and those guys were like, they're like pretty plugged up there. So I knew we were going to be in safe hands.
Were they cool guys?
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I want to go, because I think it's a different culture.
But if we weren't with them, we would have got fucked.
Yeah.
Like, we went through a checkpoint and like they asked for our passports and they're literally like, "Oh, Americans." And then like when they saw that we were with them, they're like, "Okay." But it was like fucked. And we went through that part, Chechnya, right? You know about that? The governor.
Man, here's the thing. That one thing that this guy that he's talking to, the back and forth that Tucker's having, his name's Kyle. The reason that Kyle and his team didn't have to worry about getting picked up on their way back is because they're not Tucker Carlson. They're not going to start a media frenzy with anything that they're going to do. They're just going there. If you don't know about those guys, they started like a prank show and it blew up into a bunch of different businesses. They're really, really smart guys, but they're not doing anything that's going to, break the consciousness. They're not doing anything that's going to cause an awakening in the people. Tucker Carlson, on the other hand, he might. Here's an interesting thing that he said in that clip that I've seen this clip so many times. But here's the thing that I picked up on just now. I was stopped by the U.S. government. They stopped him. Again, it goes back to what I just said. Who's holding the leash of these mainstream people? Because at the time, he was a mainstream talking head. Mainstream, anchor man, whatever you want to call it. So the U.S. government has the ability to stop those people from doing certain things and saying certain things. You know that already, right? You can see it in the narratives that come out, but you never hear anybody say it. Then, even more telling, Tucker says he then contacts a U.S. senator. Very odd. The press is not supposed to have this type of relationship with the government, whether it be the high up, the U.S. government, president, the administration, or the senators, or Congress. They're not supposed to have this relationship. And I know Tucker's far from that now because he's just unleashed. He's unfiltered. He's going wild. He's taking things by storm. I mean, his new slogan in his network is literally "corporate media is dead." And he plans to be the new mainstream media, which is why he calls it corporate media. So it says a lot. He's doing it. He's doing it. So, but it just shows. It's so interesting. I've said this so many times. There's supposed to be a tension between the press and the government, the press and the elite, the press and the authorities, because the press is supposed to be the megaphone for the people, and the people, and it's so backwards that the government is able to just be like, we read your emails. It's such an odd situation. We read your emails. And then the person who gets their emails read is like, well, I guess I can't do the thing I was planning on doing. This is like 1984. It's like a telescreens inside the guy's house. He can't do anything without them knowing. Can't make a move without them knowing. Then he has to reach out to a U.S. senator and say, hey, am I good? Am I good? You know how crazy that is? That a lot of these, I'm telling you, man, I say this about celebrities all the time, and I'll say it about these mainstream media people as well. I say it all the time about celebrities. Whenever I'm talking with friends and I'm talking to somebody who's like looking up to a celebrity, I go, man, those people are pets. Those people are pets. Those people have handlers. Those people are like a bear that you see in the circus. Yeah, they do really cool things, but you have no idea what kind of abuse had to happen for them to get trained to do those amazing things. Yeah, those media people, those people that you see on CNN and ABC and MSNBC, yeah, they're in great positions. They may seem like they're controlling public narrative, public opinion, but they have to go through so much to be in those positions. And it's just say what's on the screen. Do not deviate from what's on the screen. If you do, you're fired. We're going to pull your contract. We're going to take all your money. You're going to have nothing. And also, we have access to all of your emails and all of your text messages. And we'll find the worst ones and we'll paint you as the worst person so you can't even go off and do something independently. It's exactly what they tried to do to Tucker. After Tucker left, they started leaking emails. They started leaking text messages. They started leaking footage that wasn't supposed to be leaked from Fox, where he's saying certain things about Media Matters, where he's talking about people, text messages, or trying to paint him as a racist, all these different things. These people that you see on the mainstream, acting and politics, they're pets. They're being handled. They are not to be looked up to. I'm telling you. They're pets. I say it all the time. They're pets. They're pets. You know, Paris Hilton, you remember Paris Hilton back in the day? She'd have like a huge purse with a little dog in it. That's them. I'm telling you, man. Oh, man. All right, let's get into the rest of this. That's a whole other video I got to get into about that. But yeah, Russian media hypes Tucker Carlson's visit. Americans are in shock. It's very true. Now this, I just want to scroll up a little bit. This is from Moscow Times, which is wild. Like, this is not just causing a frenzy in America, North America, but in Russia as well. Because Russia, they know about Tucker as well. You know, they may not talk about him as much, but I don't know, man. It's wild. Like, just seeing him in the country, they're saying the same thing we are. They're going, oh, man, what's going on? Is he going to interview Putin? Like, that's wild that this is happening. Oh, man, sorry, I missed that headline there. Frenzy, Tucker Carlson being spotted in Moscow sparks frenzied speculation. Man, it seems like speculation, but let me show you this. Kremlin, quiet as Tucker Carlson visits, creates Putin interview rumors. Here's the thing. He was seen going to the Kremlin, just so you know. He was actually seen going to the Kremlin. Kremlin, in this article here, they were actually asked. They declined to say whether or not Vladimir Putin would grant him an interview. They've just gone quiet. But he and his team were seen. And I'll show you here. They were seen actually going to the Kremlin. Now, here's the thing. Again, this is a Russian journalist who found this. So there are Russian journalists who are like, just like everybody else, and they're like, we want to know what's going on. So just watch this. Tucker and his team. wild. And I know for most people it's like, oh, how do you know that's Tucker? Listen, these Russian guys have been following Tucker around. They have literally just been following Tucker. Now, one of them actually gets close to Tucker and he speaks to him and he asks him the question that's on everybody's mind. And you can tell, you know what? I'll let you decide by Tucker's answer what's going on. Is he just there sightseeing or is something wild about to happen? Here.
Меня зовут Алексей. Мне нравится то, что вы делаете. Вы лучший журналист в США. Я живу в Москве.
Я люблю этот город. Он красивый.
Что вы делаете в России?
Хотел на нее посмотреть. Я так много читал о ней. Я хотел поговорить с людьми и посмотреть на то, как все устроено.
Может быть, взять интервью у Путина? Ваш визит в Москву взорвал медиа США.
Я не знаю. Они сумасшедшие. Реально сумасшедшие.
Just so you know, what you were seeing when you were hearing the Russian, it's because it was a Russian publication and they were having a conversation in English. So somebody was actually translating for the Russian people that were watching. But people in America obviously got hold of it because in my mind, when he asks about Putin, he says, we'll see. That means they're looking for it. That means they've gone there for that reason. As much as you want to see a place. Listen, I've gone to places for work. When I was working in movies and television shows, yeah, you go to a place and it's beautiful and everything, but you're there to do a job. I've gone to places for interviews and it's like, yeah, this place is great, but I'm here to do an interview. Where's the person? And that's exactly what Tucker's doing. And I love it because now he's unmuzzled. Just a few months ago, just a year ago, or no, April. He got fired in April. Man, not even a year ago. If he wanted to do a certain thing, he would get stopped by the U.S. government. He'd get his emails read. He'd have to contact a U.S. senator. He would get intimidated and he wouldn't know what to do. He'd be upset. He'd make a show on Fox about it. And then he would just move on and not do the thing he wanted to do. I'm so glad that now he just gets to go out and do the things that he wants to do. I think we're going to see an interview with Putin very, very soon. I think that clip was verification enough for me. I don't know when we're going to see it, but we're going to see it very soon. And here's the thing. I think that the mainstream is going to go into a frenzy. They already have. They're going into attack mode. They're going to do all that stuff. They're going to call him a Russian operative. They've already said that he's working with Russia when it comes to Tucker Carlson. They've already said all these things. They're going to do it even more because I think, and here's the reason why you never see a Meet the Press interview with Vladimir Putin. I think he has some things to say about America. I've already seen him on record talking about the elections and how he thinks that process actually worked. I've heard him speak about Trump. I've heard him speak about various things. He has a lot to say. And the thing is, I'm somebody who digs for it. I look for it. You don't hear about when Vladimir Putin has a talk in Russia or when he goes to Poland or when he goes to some international convention and he gets to speak for an hour. No one ever hears about that. The same way Russia doesn't hear everything, the way we feel Russia doesn't hear everything because everything's so controlled. China doesn't hear everything. Those are the things that we don't get to hear. We don't hear what Xi Jinping has to say about the economy or what he thinks about America. We don't hear any of that. That gets firewalled for us. If Tucker Carlson actually pulls off this interview, it will be the biggest interview ever done because it's going to take someone who we've all been told is the enemy, that we've all been told, and so many of us believe the gentleman is a monster. We're all going to now hear him be a human. That's what Tucker Carlson does. He humanizes things. He takes a thing like J6 and he shows us different footage and we go, whoa, what happened there? He takes someone like Donald Trump, who's so polarizing, and he makes him into a person. He takes things that we think one thing about, and he shows us a completely different side. And the mainstream media does not. The mainstream media, the current administration, they don't want that to happen with Putin. And I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not one of those people that's like, Putin's secretly a hero. I don't think that. I don't know. I don't hear enough. I dig for it, and I don't hear enough. The regular person who just watches MSNBC, they hear nothing. The regular person who just goes on X from time to time, they don't even hear anything. I think if this interview happens, it's going to be really big. And Tucker's going to go from making speculations about Trump getting assassinated to hiring more security, for sure. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps the channel tremendously. You have no idea. And other than that, I'm out.